We're joined now by J.R. Refice, who is a candidate, a Democratic candidate for Lackawanna County Treasurer. Welcome, J.R. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having your time.
So we have no opening statements here today, but I'll dig right into the questions.
Absolutely.
So the first question for you is, how would you describe the role of county treasurer, and what would you like the voters to understand about the job?
Yeah, that's a great question. When you look at the Lackawanna County Treasurer's office, I do believe that because of who we're trying to replace, I think there's a lot of misconception on what actually goes on in that office. But you really are the holder of of the taxpayers' dollars, and I think that's very important. When you look at the role of the treasurer itself, we have to make sure that we're doing a lot, not just with the taxpayer dollars, but managing pension funds, making sure that we redistribute delinquent taxes, making sure that there's licensing and permit systems that a lot of people don't realize go through that office, that are important because it benefits the people of Lackawanna County directly and indirectly, whether it be hunting licensing or small game of chance licensing. There's making sure that we're investing idle funds with Lackawanna County, making sure that there's 67 bank accounts right now in Lackawanna County. I think a lot of people generally think there's only that one general fund, but there's quite a few. And I think it's important that when the money is idle, that we're investing it, so that when there's projects, initiatives, and there's different things that come down through departments, through the county commissioners, that we could bring that to life by causing the least amount of burden on the taxpayers. So when you look at the Lackawanna County Treasurer's office, it's not just bookkeeping, it's not just accounting. There's many different facets of Lackawanna County Treasurer's office that entail. So there are a bunch of different facets of what go on in that office.
Okay. So the next question is, describe your knowledge and experience in working with banking and investments.
So a background on me is, so I graduated from Penn State in 2013. When I graduated, my family has had an insurance business in Lackawanna County in Jessup. My grandfather, Ray Albrigi, started it 60 plus years ago. For the last 10 years, along with my aunt, I run the day-to-day business with her. We work as partners in the day-to-day operations. So when you talk about working with financial institutions, I consider insurance a form of finance and an arm of finance, if you want to be specific. But I work with financial institutions every day, where it comes to financing on your home, financing on your auto insurance, financing any kind of insurance that we're doing. I work with institutions every day. I work with banks. I work with municipalities on bond work that we also do out of our business. So I work with them every day. I believe that the reason why I'm most qualified for it is because we need someone with a business acumen. I believe that's what I bring to the table. I know how to run a successful business. I do it every single day, and that's why I believe that I'm most qualified. I work with, like I said, I work with financial institutions every single day.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, describe your knowledge and experience in working with accounting software systems, so whether it's evaluating them or implementing accounting software systems.
So we use, in my form of, in my profession, we use different softwares for accounting. We also use for different funds that we're using, whether it be personal insurance, whether it be commercial insurance. We use different systems that we use to make sure we manage every payment on time, because it's not only payments go through us, payments go through direct companies, so we have to make sure that we're always financially on track so payments don't get lost, coverage doesn't get lost. So we have a great track record with that in the business I use, so our financial knowledge and the systems that we use correlate directly to that.
Okay, thank you. The next question, the current treasurer has been in office for 8 terms since 1992. How might things in that office change under your leadership?
That's a great question. To start, first off, I think it's only fair to commend Ed Karpovich for the wonderful things he's done for Lackawanna County. I consider Ed Karpovich a mentor and a friend. And I don't think there's going to be a lot changed under my administration as our treasurer. Because if you look at the track record of Ed Karpovich and the wonderful people that work for him, there's 8 people in that office that work under him. There's very rarely an issue. The track record stands out for itself. I would go out to say it's one of the best departments in our county government, maybe one of the best departments in our state. So I don't think there's a lot to change. I don't think we need to I don't have to cut jobs. We don't have to change roles around, because I think when you look at it, it runs lean. Like I said, there's only 8 people. It's not that there's a lot of jobs that are just there for jobs. There's people in roles that are important and to make sure the day-to-day happens. So I believe that I won't change much. I won't, because I don't think we need to change much. I think it's not a referendum on what's going on there now. I think it's a continuance of making sure there's excellence in that office and making sure that we're taking care of the finances of Lackawanna County. But when you look at the day-to-day, I don't see much changing. There are certain things with the permits and the licensing that are going on, not directly with the Treasurer's Office, but with some of the different state departments that we go through for the licensing, for like the pet licensing through the Department of Agriculture. You know, those different kind of licensing are changing. The rules are changing, how people obtain them. And I've spoken to people, a lot of hunters who look for their permits that do not have the ability technology-wise to obtain them, and they're concerned. Well, I'd like to maybe see us modernize that type of service, where that it'd be easier for them to still come in and obtain and still be able to get those permits easily.
Okay. One more question.
Absolutely.
Last one. This office must work closely with the controller and other county offices. Please explain how you will build working relationships.
So I think when you look at the relationships, you're right, it's 100% crucial that it's an important position. I personally know some of the people in the offices now and the people that are running for county commissioner. But it's important, and I think that goes back to my background in insurance. I've learned how to make relationships. I work with different people every day, whether it be clients, whether it be financial institutions, whether it be municipalities. I've learned how to make that relationship work. And I believe that for us to be successful in Lackawanna County, that's crucial. So I do look forward to working with both the county controller, our Lackawanna County commissioners, all the different people that work in different departments, because that's how we're going to get things done.
Okay. JR, that's all the questions that I have for
No
you.
problem. No problem at all.
But you have 2 minutes to talk to the voters about anything pertaining to your campaign or your platform or anything that we haven't covered. And you've got 2 minutes for that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, there are a few things that I feel truly passionate about. One being our pension system. When you look at the Lackawanna County pension system, myself, along with our county controller and the county commissioners sit on the retirement board. I'd love for us to see us build that county pension larger. You know, you look at the economic climate we're in right now, it's scary. It is. There's inflation. People need money to take care of themselves. And I think it's important that we take care of all the wonderful people from the executive, top of the executive, all the way down through every department to be able to take care of themselves. And there's 2 ways to do it. You know, I hope we work with that board to be able to allocate more funds through our budget to get more money, but it's also important that we're using the right money managers, the right financial institutions, because at the end of the day, we want that net gain, not that gross gain. Making sure we have the best rates, because that's how we're going to build that. Get above our 80% standard. Get more money in the checks of those people. So it's not just worrying about putting money, but putting food on the table or gas in their vehicles. It pertains to quality of life, doing extracurricular activities. That's very important to me. Making sure that we are investing idle funds. Because again, like I spoke before, we got to make sure we're investing those funds properly. Because we're going to work with Pliget, our Pennsylvania local government investment trust, that gets the best rate. It's easy to manage. When we're in a pinch, we're able to pull that money out. But when there's funds that are idle, we need to build capital again, because we don't want to have burden on the taxpayer when there's initiatives and wonderful things that can come to Lackawanna County. That's important to me. I'm also very important. Thing I feel very important about is our delinquent taxes. And I know that's been an issue, but we have to be 100% of the time correct. There can't be any issues. Now, I can't say as the county treasurer we're going to change that, because doesn't come through my office, but I will fight to make sure that it's always 100% accurate, because it gets money back in municipalities and school districts and Lackawanna County. And then that money then goes ahead and helps people, because it helps the school districts make life better for our students and the education process better for our students. It gets our municipalities better, because there's better roads, there's better bridges, there's better parks for our kids. You see all those different things, and it can really affect the people. I think a lot of times the people of Lackawanna County don't realize the treasurer could have such a direct impact, and I believe we can. And there are things that I feel important about.
All right, thank you. That concludes our time with J.R. Refice. J.R. is a candidate for Lackawanna County Treasurer on the Democratic ballot, so Democratic registered voters would be able to cast their ballot for him on May 16th. J.R., thank you again for your time today.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.